Hey there everyone, and welcome to Bill's Retro Gaming Show. So on today's video we're going to be covering a few different things. First up is going to be the new cab announced from Arcade1up, which you may or may not have seen already. I think maybe a couple of people have covered this. Not too many, just a couple. In addition to that, we've got some leaks, a little bit of new information maybe on NFL Blitz from Arcade1up, and a new game released for the iiRcade system. But before we get into all that, let's get all that fun YouTube stuff out of the way. And of course, if you have not done it yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I put up a new video. Give this one a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Alright, so let's kick things off, get started right away, and let's jump on into the Arcade1up website and take a look at the new cab that got announced this Friday at EVO 2022. Alright, here we are, and yes, the long-rumored, long-awaited, long-hoped-for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is going to be coming to Arcade1up. And I, for one, am super pumped and excited to see this come up. I've been very desirous of having Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for a while, like I know a lot of people have. As a matter of fact, one of the earlier videos I did was a wish list, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was the first game that I covered. And I will tell you that this cab almost hits everything that I asked for in that video, and I'll kind of go over that a little bit as we go through this. But let's just kind of dive in and take a quicker look. Really, I should say a closer look here. And of course, this is the cab itself. It's got the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 marquee on it. It's got the typical Capcom layout control panel, interesting color scheme that they've kind of gone for here. Now, my understanding from what I've heard people talk about is that we are maybe seeing just some renders here or some pre-production work, that parts of this cab design might change, although I think that a lot of it is going to stay the same. You know, if you look at the shape of it here, you can see they're still using that same kind of Midway cab design that started with the Midway Legacy MK30th edition. They followed that up with the Yoga Flame and Shinko Hadouken Capcom Legacy editions, and now this one. So it looks like this is kind of what Arcade1up is going for in terms of basically a standard design for a lot of their cabs, at least the ones that they're not trying to specifically mimic a specific arcade machine. You know, you look at like the Centipede one or the Pac-Mania one, and a lot of Dragon's Lair, you know, they're obviously trying to mimic the look of those particular arcade machines, but here they're really just going for that uniform look to this cab that, you know, we're starting to see in other machines that they have released. And to be honest with you, I don't really have that much of a problem with it. I think the layout is nice. I like the design. The artwork on the side is very cool. You know, when you consider that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 didn't really have its own special arcade machine. It was more conversion kits that they put into machines. Now, would I have rather have seen them put this into the Big Blue form factor? Yes. I think the Big Blue form factor would have been fantastic for this. But I kind of understand what they were going for here, and you know, it's certainly something I can live with. I'm hoping maybe they'll change some of this design on this control panel. It looks a little bit out of place compared with the rest, but you know, we'll see what happens. So alright, you know, as you can see here, they are saying that pre-orders are going to begin on September 8th. So keep an eye out for that. Now, they are not listing price on the website yet, but they have announced that the price for this will be $5.99, and once again, that does line up with some information that we got through GameFly leaks earlier in the year, when, you know, the thought was that a Marvel vs. Capcom was going to be coming out. Now, whether that was going to be what we got, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, or whether that was just going to be an updated Marvel vs. Capcom cab, we didn't know at the time. Of course, now we know the answer. It is Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and again, very excited that that's what it is. And of course, going down to the features and looking at some of the games that are going to be on this, of course, this is going to have Wi-Fi play on it, which is fantastic. Again, I understand that this is going to be cross-play, so if you have any of the other Marvel cabs from Arcade1up that have Wi-Fi on them, you will be able to play with those people online, which is great. course, there'll be leaderboards and all that kind of good stuff too. And then, of course, we get into the games list, which, for the most part, I'm very happy about. There's a couple of omissions here that disappoint me a little bit. But for the most part, it's kind of what we expected. You get Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men Children, and X-Men Children of the Atom. So, basically, every Capcom Marvel fighter is on this cab, which is fantastic. So this is, if you're into those Marvel fighters, you're going to love this, because, you know, this is going to have everything that you want. Whereas the previous machines kind of split these up in with two different cabs from Arcade1up, having them all on one is definitely a welcome addition. And then, of course, they have Mutant Apocalypse and War of the Gems, which are both console games. Okay, you know, nice that they threw those on there, because, again, those were split among two different cabs. One had Mutant Apocalypse, the other had War of the Gems, so to have them both together on a machine, nice. One glaring omission here that I'm very disappointed didn't make it to the cab is, of course, the Punisher, which is a side-scrolling beat-em-up. Would have loved to have seen that on that cab. It would have just made this cab 100% complete. I mean, if there's anything to complain about, other than, you know, whether or not you like the, you know, the shape and the look of it, is the fact that it's missing the Punisher. Now, John D. from Arcade1up has said that there are some issues with the Punisher, or something about maybe Marvel didn't want to release that game anymore. I don't know if it's that, if it's a licensing issue, if the truth is they just decided to leave it off and stick with the fighters. I don't know. But to not have it on here is the one downside to this. If I was going to rate this out of 10, that might just push it down one shot to 9 out of 10 instead of 10 out of 10, in my personal opinion. And then, of course, you have the dimensions here, which I've had up on screen this whole time I'm talking. I'm not going to go through them. But they do line up with the other, like I said, the Midway Legacy, the Capcom Legacy, that have been released recently. So if you've got those, you put this right next to it, they're going to line up nicely, and, you know, they're going to look like they belong together. And I think that's kind of what they were going for here. Alright, so just to kind of finish things off as we talk about this, let's take a look at the sizzle reel that they have put together for this. And again, they tell you about the 8 classic games that are on it. And of course, we have our wonderful BJ's ad here. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is the sizzle reel that they put together, which you can see on the Arcade1up website. And of course, like I said, there's a million content creators out there who have all been talking about this. And guys, just one last thing that I do want to mention about this cabinet before I move on to something else is that, yes, it has been confirmed to have a BOE monitor in it. So no monitor gate with this particular machine. Just like with the Capcom Legacies, this will have the better looking monitor in it. Now again, there's still a few things that we're waiting to find out in terms of some of the Wi-Fi on it. It does seem like it's going to have spectator mode and different things like that. Not sure how well, you know, the Wi-Fi is going to work, how latency is going to work on it. I believe they have announced that they are going to be using rollback for the network play on that, which, again, I'm not an expert on net play and how a lot of that works, but from what I understand, rollback seems to be the preferred way to go with this. So, you know, these are all good signs. These are all good news, good signs. Definitely check out some of the other content creators on YouTube. A lot of them have been covering it in more detail. There's a lot of them out at EVO this weekend who are getting real on-hand look at the cabinet. So, you know, be sure to just kind of search them out, check them out if you want more information, if you want to see this thing in play. Alright, so moving on, I just want to talk about another cab that some of you may or may not have heard of from time to time. I don't know, I don't think anybody's really talking about this one too much. Maybe just me, I don't know. But it's a little cab called NFL Blitz. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this already. This is making the rounds in a lot of different places. Discord, Reddit. My buddy pDubs Arcade Loft, did a leak video early Friday morning showing this off because he got a lot of this coming to him from places like Discord, like I said. So definitely check out his video. Toycade also did a leak video on this. So again, this is making the rounds, but I just want to throw my 2 cents in real quick on it. And yeah, this is what we think the NFL Blitz cab is going to look like. You can see from here that it's, you know, definitely a 4-player cab. You know, the side artwork, very interesting. Again, it's kind of its own thing, not really reminiscent of an original NFL Blitz arcade. They do have the molded coin doors, which are nice. One thing a lot of people are pointing out is that on the side here, it does say NFL Blitz Legends, which is not, to my knowledge at least, an NFL Blitz arcade machine, that there wasn't one called Legends. So that's led to a lot of speculation about whether or not this is going to be an exact replica of the NFL Blitz arcade experience, or if this is going to be kind of its own thing. You know, everybody talks about, you know, will it have late hits? Will it have full rosters? You know, all that, you know, things like that in this cab. Of course, we're not going to know till this gets officially announced. We may not even know till it gets released and we see more information on it. Monitor, what's the monitor going to look like? You know, none of that stuff is really known. All we have is a couple of pictures that, again, may or may not be real, but it seems like it is. And I just want to go to one other thing really quick. All right, so I know a lot of you have seen this already. This is another picture that was making the rounds a week or so ago. And this was from Deion Sanders' Instagram. This is a quick screen capture where he seemed to indicate that he had a Blitz cab in the background. You know, again, a lot of people, was this custom? Was this the Arcade1up? And I think if you look at this, if you look at the marquee, if you look at, you know, the boxed in, you know, the coloring of the T-molding, the screen size and everything, and then you compare it to this screenshot, especially if I kind of zoom in on the top here, the marquee, the coloring, the molding, to me, I think these line up perfectly. I think if we believe that this is legit, and we look at this picture from Deion Sanders' Instagram, there's really no doubt in my mind they're the same machine. There's no doubt in my mind that these are the same machine. So to me, that just adds to the legitimacy of the fact that what we're seeing here is representative of the Arcade1up machine. Now, again, just like with the Marvel vs. Capcom, this could be a very early prototype. This may not be a final design, but my money is on it's going to be really, really close. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that is the actual design or not on NFL Blitz? Are you happy that they're going to be releasing it? And what do you think some of the concessions might be? Again, I know a lot of people have been covering it to death. A lot of people have been making videos about how it's not going to be Blitz. It's going to be a watered down version and whatever. You know, I've said this before. I'll say it again. I know I'm going to get flack for it. I don't care. You know, you like what you like. I like what I like. And that's the way things go. All right? I don't have a lot of nostalgia for Blitz. It's not one that I played a lot in the arcades. Having said that, I know how many people have been wanting Blitz for years from Arcade1up. So if it's not exactly what they want, I know they're going to be disappointed. So my personal hope is that it's everything people asked for and wanted. I hope it is the Blitz that people want. Look, if it's not, it's not. You know, nobody forces you to buy anything. You know, a lot of you know that I'm now one of the hosts of new show Game Time. We had our premiere episode this past Friday. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to check that out. It is on my channel. It's on Tech Buzz, Glenn's Retro Show, and She-Line Gaming. And I gotta say, shout out to She-Line. You know, she had the perfect take on this. It's just like, look, it's just like anything else. If you don't like the way they did it, don't buy it. You know, it's that simple. Again, I know, you know, a lot of people have really been desirous of this, so if it's not what you want, I get it. I get your disappointment, for sure. But until we see more, it's all speculation. Now, my guess is we're going to find out more soon. We just had the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 announcement. That goes for pre-sale in September. It's probably going to come out sometime in maybe October, I think. It's probably going to be either end of September or early October when that gets released. Blitz is probably going to come out sometime in November. So my guess is either later this month or early next month we will see something from them officially. Alright, so I just want to touch on one last thing before I end this video, and I want to switch gears away from Arcade1up for a minute and go to iiRcade, because iiRcade has also had a pretty big week this week, hopefully not overshadowed by these announcements from Arcade1up, but they have finally released a game that, again, a lot of people have been asking for a while. This is a great week. If you've been waiting for specific games, this has been a great week for you, because you've gotten some great announcements on some games, one that's up and coming and one that is available right now. And as a matter of fact, if you know that they have these gold cabs that are coming out, one of them is designed specifically after this game. Here it is. Yep, that's right. iiRcade has finally released Space Invaders, the amazing Taito game, and this is based on the Taito version for sure. You know, they've done a lot of updates to it to kind of not so much make it their own, because this has all been in conjunction with Taito, but to just add a lot of extra features to this. Black and white mode, color mode, bezels, moon background, just all kinds of great stuff to just make this really the definitive version of Space Invaders. So if you are a fan, this is definitely one to check out. It's available on their store right now for $7.99, and of course, if you've ordered the Space Invaders Gold Cab, you will receive a code to download this. So yeah, real quick, as I was saying as the video was playing, if you have ordered a Gold Cab, the Space Invaders version from iiRcade, you will get a code to download this. Now, also, if you've ordered that, you've probably gotten an email like I have, where if you already own an iiRcade, if you own one of the originals, which I don't, I have the Gold Cab coming, but if you own one of the originals and you've also ordered that Space Invaders Gold Cab, you can actually get your code ahead of time and download it for your original machine right now. So you do not have to wait for your Gold Cab to come. You can start playing this game immediately. And of course, if you didn't and you just want to get it, it is available on their store for $7.99. And one last quick announcement before I end this video, and I'll do my best Jungwoo Shin and announce one more thing, just like he did on their game days this past Friday. And yes, Space Invaders Infinity Gene, the modern updated take on Space Invaders, is also coming to iiRcade, and it is scheduled to drop on August 19th. So keep an eye out for that as well. Alright, that is going to do it. I'm going to leave you here with all that information. Leave me a message in the comments. Let me know what you think. Are you excited for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 to be coming from Arcade1up? What do you think about the shape of the cab, the games list, the online support, all that kind of stuff? Just let me know in the comments your thoughts. Again, let me know what you think about NFL Blitz. Do you think that is what the cab is actually going to look like? Do you think it's going to be the real Blitz? Do you think it's going to be an Arcade1up version of Blitz? Let me know your thoughts. And of course, with the iiRcade Space Invaders, are you excited for Space Invaders? Have you downloaded it yet? Have you been playing it? What do you think? That's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you again soon. And don't forget, of course, to check me out with the Tech Buzz, Glenn's Retro Show, and She Lion Gaming's every Friday, 8 p.m. game time. See you then.